Hey everyone, welcome back to what is the reboot of Drawing with Dave. And I'm super excited to get this series going again, so welcome on in. But I want to go over a couple of things before we get into a sketch on what this format's going to be going forward. So what I want is to really kind of evolve what this series was before into something new. So going forward, Drawing with Dave is going to be a weekly video that comes out on Friday. So you guys will see this drop on Friday morning. It's We're going to have it about 30 minutes long of a real-time sketch that I do. As much as I can do in 30 minutes, we'll talk about it, talk about the process as we do it. And what I want you guys to do, if you can help me out, is in every week's video, type down comments down below of what you want to see me sketch in the next week's video. Whether some type of character or creature or some type of or a mashup of two different things. It could be like a fan art mixed with something else. Anything you guys might want to see. And I'll pick my favorite every week to do on the next week's Drawing with Dave. And so that's going to be the format going forward. So I can't wait to get started today. And what we're actually going to be working on today, I'm going to grab one of the silhouettes that we did from the silhouette video. And I'm just going to work on this for about 30 minutes. I actually like this shape that we did before. And so I want to see where we can take it. So let's dive in. And guys, welcome back to Drawing with Dave. I'm super pumped to get going on this. All right, let's get going. All right, to start off here, what I really want to do is get rid of all this white because it's almost blinding having it be so bright. Like most things, I like to have kind of like a mid-tone, little middle of the road value here that we can work on. And then, like usual, we're going to grab this guy and we're just going to knock the whole thing back. Let me get rid of this. I just want to fade him out a little bit because we're going to do a line drawing right on top. So we don't need him too much. And I don't mind flattening this stuff down either. So we're going to grab my DG main brush, which I use quite a bit. And then you can find all my brushes in the description below as well. And really, what I like to do at the start of these is to actually stay as loose as possible. And let's just start jamming some sketching here. Sometimes I will drop the flow down and some of this a little bit can kind of help my brush. But I'm not locking into anything. Like, I guess there's a head here and maybe some eye shape, but I'm not really sure where or what. You know, maybe I can lock in where I want some eyes, maybe some type of like bug creature or something. Now right now it's kind of looking straight on, which may be like less interesting for us, but we can try some stuff like this. Really, it's just like I'm almost keeping my wrist off the monitor and I'm just kind of jamming weird shapes and see what could kind of come from it. It's, you know, I have to really kind of figure out where the shoulders are. Maybe there's some like weird kind of shoulder plate attached to them. It's kind of nice. I don't get a chance to do like a lot of kind of weird creature stuff. So this is a good opportunity to do that. I figured that when I was doing the sketch before that these would be kind of coming off his back. Right now, like the sketch makes it look like he has some type of beak, which sometimes like some early sketch stuff could kind of jam some stuff in your head that you don't want there. Like I don't want him to have a beak, so I don't want to keep seeing a beak every time I look at it. But I wanted the shape up here. I just not sure what yet. So I'm still staying loose. I'm just trying to figure out little parts of his body where his arms and shoulders and all that stuff might actually be. I don't mind looking like his body is almost like a little broken up. It has some really strange shapes. So we can really change it around too. And it's even good, even at this early phase, to flip the canvas like crazy. What I'm actually going to do here, even while we're sketching this, Maybe I'll go up to the airbrush here, drop these settings back. I'm trying to keep track of the time on these, so I can cap myself at 30 minutes. I just want this kind of like gradient in here, even though it's gonna make it pretty dark right now. But I have like a real kind of base idea of how I may put some nice black and white like ambiance of lighting in here. Especially if it almost looked like some type of spotlight light was coming down and kind of draping all around him, this kind of weird creature. All right, I'll go back to my other brush. Same thing, we'll get something pretty dark in here. You know, sometimes it's too early to go in with a lot of them. These more kind of concrete lines, but I don't usually mind, especially since I can kind of keep erasing stuff out if I need to. Like I said, even at this stage, it's fine to be super messy. You can keep going over things and adding more. Like I can get some more kind of brow on him or furrowed brows on these alien eyes or something. You know, it'd actually be cool if he had some type of actual armor on, some like exoskeleton or something. I think I might actually change one of his arms to be down here. Which might make more sense. I don't mind like having his forearm and elbow look like pretty jammed out here. Be nice and weird, you know. Well, one big thing too is always, and you probably have heard this from like a lot of artists, it's just constantly moving around the piece, right? I'm not locked down that like, oh, we have to figure out like some perfect eyes right now or anything like that. You can just keep it real loose. Kind of like that, maybe like one's more of like a crook eye. And I say this about a lot of people that ask about my process of working is I do kind of work organically in the way that I do figure out a lot as I go. I think I see a lot of artists that kind of have like a very, it looks like they know exactly what they want to do right off the bat. Most of the time I'm really just figuring it out. I have no idea. I just hope I find my way. Sometimes I find my way. Sometimes I get stuck in the mud and lost. But that's just something that I'm trying to learn and figure out as well. And also one thing I meant to bring this up before is actually going in the future, because I'm actually in the process of buying a brand new camera right now, which is fantastic. So we can do more kind of like full screen stuff and actually have like really good picture and video. It's been a long time coming, but we're doing it. This guy's looking more like an undead demon creature, which is fine. And what I want to do is some drawing with Dave's going forward is actually have them be in my sketchbook. So I'll actually get some traditional sketching going. Maybe some ink drawing. So we won't just be entirely digital. I'm looking as this entire experience to really, and the fact that we're spending more time freelance, to have more time to break off from the computer and find myself in my roots a little bit. I think being able to play in that medium again is really gonna be really fulfilling, and I'd love to be able to kind of share that experience with you guys of getting back into it. You know, getting back into my sketchbook, and you know, we could find some like watercolors or gouache or anything that we could kind of incorporate in there. Would be awesome. So I've always loved painting traditionally, just that these days with so much work and the type of work I do, digital just has made it so much easier as far as the speed and setup and paint drying and all that stuff. So really kind of exploring some shapes, but it also shows that I like how messy the initial drawing was, because it also helped me explore and find new weird little shapes back here that might not have known was actually there. All right, don't mind me adding like a whole bunch of layers as we work on this. Trying to get better at my layer management lately, but sometimes I still just throw a whole bunch of stuff in there. I end up flattening it out later, but it's a whole thing. So usually for like reference, I pulled up like a bunch of kind of weird bug and exoskeleton shapes and stuff like that, and weird little things we can do. We'll try to dive into the details more at one point too. I guess the biggest thing is just not want to really slow down yet. Like my favorite part is getting to slowing down and figuring out those details, but it was like reminding yourself that just not there yet, not there yet. Like I looked down and I was like, it needs more kind of like a mouth area. Whether it's something that kind of might come down and be a full mouth, or it's all kind of melted in. Not too sure yet. And at the same time, I want to make sure that there's like maybe some type of cheekbones and kind of like human anatomy attached to this. Not really sure. Really kind of just exploring all this still. Finding shapes that will work. I think I might want to bring this down a little bit further in the back. But this is the best part of like painting, where you can just kind of like pop on some music or a movie and you're really kind of just sketching for yourself too. Like, what is something just neat and cool we can think of and create, you know, knowing that I don't have to give this to a client or an art director to kind of go over and critique and give me revisions, and it's just for me, and that's something that's pretty relaxing, and I think that's something I'm going to look forward to for these episodes and these like sketch sessions. Maybe these are kind of like some weird bubble things on top. We'll bring some of that dark space into here too. And we'll do our flip. Not too bad. The eyes are a little weird on the flip, but not. I've done worse. I don't think we need to figure out any type of pupil or anything yet. What we could do though is kind of figure out like adding a little bit more highlights though, just especially from here, we're still pretty far down. We could go a little bit higher and just kind of bring out some little areas. See what it does for us. I almost assume this top part's almost gonna have like a glow to it. If like the light is hitting off the top and we really kind of darken out the top of the piece, we could do something like that. Once we figure out a lot of this too, we can do the same thing where we push the entire thing back and then figure out an actual detailed line drawing, which usually helps me. It just helps me discover and figure out details of the piece more and more, you know. It's just a process of how I work. And you can swap to different brushes. You can use brushes that have like more texture or less, and you know, it's good to vary it up, right? So sometimes I might use this like DG under 1. You can still do some nice sketchy stuff, but it's got more of like a I feel like a purposeful brush, like it kind of swings a little harder, if that makes sense. And really I'm just kind of creating shapes within these that are going to feel interesting to me. I think that comes down to a lot of that, you know, shape design stuff, and that I always kind of fall in love with. Maybe this top part is like a helmet thing on top. I don't know. I don't think I like that. It's worth always checking that stuff out though, see if it might work. And we're still figuring out all this. I guess we can go down and figure out some of these bottom areas. I think I wanted him to have like a tail. I think that's what was kind of happening down here. He's got these little skimpy thighs. I'm kind of just like breaking out little areas. And I don't even want to erase the stuff that's kind of existing on the side. It's almost kind of cool. It almost makes me wonder if like he's got 2 arms on one side. That could be kind of interesting. And I want to push these shapes back. I thought they look kind of neat back here. I think it's good to stay pretty zoomed out if you can. It's going to help you just see the entire piece as you work on it. And I feel like it keeps you pretty loose still, right? And maybe there we have like a little bit of translucency in these little bubble things that come off the shoulders, and you can kind of see like weird liquid in these. We can put like a little bit of light in this eye, just that one. Just want to get loose again, figure out where my maybe knees are, and I'm kind of just exaggerating these shapes of where a calf or a knee might be. And we could give him like the blade deals that we thought of in the other one. That might be too much. Easy shapes to throw on and then take off after. I almost feel like I want to push these shapes out more though. Like we're not going far enough on some of these. Like maybe this is like he hatches all these little things. Or she, I guess. At one point, so we'll get a couple more up here, right? That's pretty gross. It just kind of carries them all around. And I can't tell if this is going to be like more of like a piece of armor on here, like this weird exoskeleton armor. And it's like, is this actually the nasty alien skin down underneath it? Not sure yet. And like these lines can be super messy. And we'll come down and figure out, some actual feet here. Like, who knows? Maybe it has an extra joint in the feet and they're kind of facing inward. That's always something you can kind of hammer out later as well. I almost want it to look like it has trouble walking around. There's something that's really kind of bizarre about these legs and how they move. And we'll have this one kind of more facing forward. I think right now, looking at it, it's almost like the tail looks like it's too short. So I don't mind messing up this gradient too much, but I think we need to bring this thing out a little bit. I do like the things on the back, but I think we should figure out a different shape for the things on the back. That's the thing. We do like a... And if we do a nice shape, I actually do think we should start with mirroring it. So let me bring that out. We'll fill it in a little bit here. And then I'm just gonna dupe and mirror it over. We'll change the angle and the shape of it like a little bit, since the shoulders are kind of doing that anyway. There we go. I might as well just grab my airbrush and try to keep this a little clean up here. All right, trying to keep track of my time here. Hopefully I'm trying to give you guys enough of what I'm thinking as I'm working on it, so hopefully this is educational in some way and how you tackle your own designs. Getting sketches even to this quality to show an art director or getting yourself on a certain place going forward will help a lot. But most of my pieces will start around this level. And I work black and white for quite a while before I move into color. And for one, I don't have to worry about the color right away. Sometimes I'll hit it sooner than later, but this lets me just worry about value and the actual design itself without kind of figuring out, how is the balanced light doing this and what color is it bringing in? What color is this creature even going to be? There's always just like lots of questions you have to figure out. And this just lets me concentrate on the design for just a little bit longer. I'm gonna do the same thing I did another one. Sometimes it's nice to have some pretty asymmetrical designs. sometimes I liked having some parts that kind of look like they match up, right? And what I was thinking too, let's crop this down a little bit. We don't need so much room here. I'm going to flatten this all down. We don't need so many kind of crazy layers. I'm going to darken. It's almost like just like this light airbrush. It kind of just, you're not really thinking of a specific shadow right now. You're just kind of brushing in the idea of this grounding shadow that it's standing on. And I do kind of want to blow out the light, especially for like a sketch like this. And I think this could give it some just kind of cool, cool vibe to it. It's almost like the light is hitting all this stuff at the top pretty bright. We're going to bring it down. You know, we'll create the shadow underneath the head, but it'll hit, you know, some of these things coming down. And we're really kind of focusing our attention to the shoulders and head area because it's going to have the highest contrast, which will draw your eyes in as well. And this can add just like a little bit more depth too, because you're kind of bringing out some of the forms just a tiny bit. And so by doing this, it's almost like these weird beams of light are kind of lighting him up, right? I can grab the eraser and just kind of jam out a couple so it's not just the exact airbrush shapes I was using. And then we can definitely figure out some cool ways to hit it. Hopefully I wasn't too zoomed out and had the picture up there. But this is like a great starting point where from here I might even bring the image to like a higher res, and then we can really dive into like what is actually this face shaped like, right? We probably won't dive into this episode because I think we're actually getting close to the 30-minute mark. I'm glad how much we can get done in 30 minutes, but sometimes I wish, maybe in the future we'll make them longer, but I'm trying to shoot for 30 minutes for now. But then we could really dive into what is his head, what is this nose shape, and the cheekbones, and that's we can dive into more specifics of where the light is hitting, where is actually like the brow and the shadows are creating underneath, right? And then you might have some of the light hitting some of the cheekbones, but it depends how much all this stuff is coming out and creating that shadow down here. Like you guys can almost see it on my face now, right? Like down here, and then you have this light that's hitting here and then coming up into here, right? And you kind of can bring that in. All that stuff. I think going forward, I would actually want to figure out like a real mouth and how that mouth is shaped. Same with the eyes, right? I might push the whole piece back, going with a darker layer, and then actually go in and be like, all right, here's where the top lid is. Is it actually going to look like a human eye, or is it going to be more kind of like bug eye? Do we have to conform to how the human eye is formed? You know, is this one more of like a crook eye? So, you know, I like to do the crook eye as much as I can. And same with the nose, or if like whatever this indent in here is, then we can figure out more of the kind of these wrinkles, right? And you can still stay loose with it if you need as well. And then some of the real darks are going to come down underneath. You know, I can really dive into the craziness of it. All right. It's pretty cool though. I think it gets us, you know, some pretty quick results we get like a vibe and a feeling from it, from a sketch. But I think that's going to do it for our return to the series. And this series is going to be in addition to other content that's going to be coming out on the channel. So whether it be tutorials or time lapses, that's going to be in addition to our Drawing with Dave series that's going to drop here every Friday. And I'm super excited. So definitely, if you guys like this type of content, definitely subscribe to the channel. It helps me a ton. Post comments down below what you want to see on the next week. And that about does it. And it's cool. I don't get to do a lot of creature stuff. I feel rusty doing weird creatures. So I think we should dive into some more. And maybe we'll do some more rendered stuff too for the 30 minutes with creature design. That'd be pretty cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And I will see you next Friday. I'm looking forward to what you guys have to say down below. All right. Have a great day, guys.